Welcome to Inspiring the Next Mind. So, we're always asking our teams for their big ideas, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder if they're holding back? I mean, what if the single biggest thing stopping your next breakthrough is just the fear of being wrong? Today, we're going to dig into why that fear is so powerful, and more importantly, how you can build a kind of shield to protect your team's absolute best ideas.
Oh man, it's a moment that every leader knows, and it is so frustrating. You get everyone in a room, you're all fired up, you ask for that next game changing idea, and what do you get? Silence. Total crickets. It's like, where are all the great insights? Why do they so often go unsaid? All right, let's figure out what's really going on here. Okay, let's get right to the heart of the problem. I call it the innovation paradox. It's this weird situation where companies spend so much time and money building these elaborate processes, all designed to churn out great ideas. But if you look closer, the company's culture often ends up strangling those exact same ideas before they can even take a breath. It's a system that's literally working against itself.
And this really gets to the core of it. We're sending a huge mixed signal. On one hand, we're asking for novelty, for something new and exciting, but on the other hand, we're implicitly, through our actions, signaling that we punish mistakes. We say, bring me something risky, but what our team actually hears from the culture is, don't you dare fail. And when the cost of speaking up feels way higher than any possible reward, well, silence becomes the only logical, the only safe choice. So this whole paradox, it creates this powerful, invisible force that runs through our organizations. And that force is fear. Specifically, the fear of being wrong. It's like this invisible wall that stands right between your team member's brilliant idea and you ever getting to hear it. Just let that sink in for a second. The single greatest killer of innovation. It's not the budget, it's not a lack of talent, it's not even a bad process. It's fear. This is the emotional root of the problem. It's why so many companies have what I call innovation theater. All the fancy workshops and idea boxes, but with none of the real substance. And what's really important to understand is that this fear isn't some big abstract monster. No, it's very specific, very personal. It's those day-to-day social anxieties. It's the voice in your head asking, am I going to look foolish in front of my peers, or am I just wasting my manager's time with this? You worry about being labeled naive or, not a team player. These might seem like small interpersonal risks, but they feel huge in the moment. And they're absolutely enough to stop people from taking the big, innovative risks we so desperately need them to. So, to fix this, we need a fundamental shift in how we think about innovation. For a long time, we've had this process-first mindset. The idea that if we just build the perfect process, this perfect machine, it'll just churn out good ideas. But that's just not how human creativity works. We have to flip that. We need to move to safety-first thinking. The idea here is that if you create a safe environment, good ideas will naturally emerge. Think of it like this. You need to build a greenhouse, not a factory. Because real innovation, it doesn't start with a process. It starts with psychological safety. And there's actually a formal term for this, coined by Dr. Amy Edmondson at Harvard. It's called team psychological safety. And what it really boils down to is a shared belief within the team that it's okay to take interpersonal risks. It means you can speak up, you can offer a half-baked idea, you can admit you made a mistake, or even just ask a dumb question, all without the fear of being punished or humiliated for it. And let's be super clear here. This isn't about being nice or avoiding tough conversations. It's about creating a climate for respectful, candid, and totally fearless truth-telling. Okay, so that's the goal, psychological safety. But how do we actually build it? Well, I want to offer you a powerful metaphor for the leader's role in all of this. I call it the servant's shield. It's all about reframing your job. You move away from being a boss who just commands and controls, and you become a protector who enables and empowers. And this shield has two crucial parts, and they're totally connected. First, there's the servant part. That's the mindset you have to adopt. And second, there's the shield part. That's the active role you have to play. So let's break down what each of those really means. All right, first, the servant piece. Think of this as your internal operating system as a leader. It's all about servant leadership. So instead of your default question being, what can my team do for me? It flips to, what does my team need from me to succeed? You're there to provide resources and remove obstacles. You give credit away freely. Your success is just a byproduct of their success. It's about trading your own personal ego for the incredible unlocked potential of your entire team. Then you have the shield. This is the active, external part of your job. This is you standing between your team and all the forces out there that can crush their curiosity. You're the one who deflects organizational blame when a calculated risk doesn't pay off. You shield them from political crossfire. You push back against impatience from above. And you absolutely, positively never allow a person or their idea to be ridiculed. You are their defender. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? Being a servant and a shield. But how do you actually do it? How do you forge this thing? Well, it's not about a grand gesture. It comes down to a set of really consistent, visible behaviors that you have to practice day in and day out. It really boils down to 3 core behaviors. Number 1, you have to model vulnerability. Number 2, you have to completely reframe what failure means. And number 3, you have to actively, and I mean actively, protect curiosity. So let's start with vulnerability. And honestly, it can begin with just 3 words. 3 of the most powerful words a leader can ever say. I don't know. See, we're taught to think that's a sign of weakness, but it's the exact opposite. It's an invitation. When you say, I don't know, what you're really telling your team is, my voice isn't the only one that matters here. I need your brain, your perspective. It literally opens the door for them to step in with the answers. And right alongside that is another incredibly powerful phrase, I was wrong. When you as the leader can openly say, you know what, I made the wrong call there, and here's what I learned from it, you completely normalize the idea of being human. You show that the goal isn't to be perfect all the time. The goal is to learn and get better, together. That means it's safe for everyone else to be imperfect too. Okay, the second behavior is reframing failure, and this means building a blameless culture. Now, hold on, this is a really critical distinction. This is not about getting rid of accountability. Blame looks backwards. It's about punishment. It's obsessed with the question, whose fault was this? Accountability, on the other hand, looks forward. It's about owning the solution. It asks, okay, what did we learn and how do we use that to move forward? A team that is protected by the shield is incredibly accountable, but they are never, ever blamed. And finally, number 3, you have to actively protect curiosity. This is huge. When someone on your team shares a new idea, especially one that's a little wild or not fully formed yet, your reaction is absolutely critical. Your gut reaction might be to say, that'll never work, but instead of stamping it out, I want you to try getting curious. Ask a different question. Something like, that's interesting. What's the core problem you're trying to solve with that idea? That simple shift sends a powerful message. All thinking is valued here, and it protects the person who is brave enough to share in the first place. So, after all this work, modeling vulnerability, reframing failure, protecting curiosity, what's the payoff? What do you actually get when you build this servant's shield for your team? You get the single most valuable commodity in any organization. You get the truth. And listen, this isn't some abstract philosophical concept. The truth is tangible. The truth is getting bad news about a project early enough that you can actually do something about it. The truth is that crazy idea that nobody else has thought of yet. It's the raw, unfiltered customer complaint that everyone else was too afraid to bring up. The truth is the person on your team who feels safe enough to respectfully disagree with your strategy and ends up saving you from making a huge mistake. So here's the bottom line. The servant's shield, this whole idea of building psychological safety, this is not a nice-to-have soft skill. It is not optional. It is the fundamental job of a leader in today's world. It is the primary engine that creates real value in an organization. Full stop. And that really leaves us with one final question. Look, building this shield doesn't happen overnight. It's not a memo you send out. It's built through small, consistent actions, day after day. So my question for you is this. What is one thing, just one small thing, you can do this week to start building your shield? That's it. That's where it all begins.